So once again, thank you and welcome. I'm going to start his remarks from Mr. Elijah Ditter, our interim medical center director.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Thanks for being here. Again, welcome to this event, Memorial. I'm so excited to honor Major McClendon, and I get the honor to sit right next to you for the duration of the event. Here at the Phoenix VA, we take a great pride in providing world-class care to our veterans just right across the street here. Our medical center first opened its doors in 1951. So at that time, the majority of our veterans were from the World War II era. Today, that population has become much smaller. And within it, women veterans are even a smaller part of that, deeply significant group, which I always like to refer to as the greatest generation. We're really eager to be able to share at this moment with all of you tremendous speakers and presentations. And I want to start that off on the behalf of the Secretary of Veterans Affairs, Mr. Doug Collins. It will be my distinct honor to present you with the Centenarian Award and the VA Secretary's Coin in recognition of your extraordinary service to our country. So thank you all, and please enjoy today's program.
That incident by Mr. Joseph Lana, President at your back, Inc., up to read Ms. Fanny's bio.
You always got to fiddle around with things, but this is how we do it. Anyway, I want to say thank you so much for everybody coming out for today's event. My best friend, Fanny McClendon, she's looking at me with all beady eyes. She's a great person. And also, I just wanted to say, all of you who are here, I really want to say thank you. Siobhan and Cleva has done a fantastic job. I just want to say, let's give her a... Well, it's been some time since I was at AFN that I was able to come and address an audience like this. But today is her day. We have a display over there. So I want you to, when you get a chance before you go, take a look at the 6888 display. It's a traveling museum. And James Marshall, whose mother is also a 6888 member. We have some other 6888 members here in the audience that have been a part of the historic site. But the uniform to the right, and I am going to read her bio one word, her uniform there is, the uniform is a replica of the uniform she wore with her insignia, rank, patches, and everything on it. So when you get a chance, please take a look. It was put together by two people. Someone who donated the Red Friday folks out there in Apache Junction, put that together, made the donation, took a lot of time, and they know who they are. And it was a great great acknowledgement. I just want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to the Phoenix Veterans Administration for allowing us to take part in this great festivity. All of the people who have been supporting, Archer Rags, Elgin Fanning has been a long life member, and definitely would like to acknowledge that. And Fanny's history is just fantastic. Retired Air Force Major Fanny Griffin McClendon is the last surviving member of the 688 Central Postal Directory Battalion, composed of women of color and the entire battalion. The 688 was the only Women's Air Corps unit that was all women who were all women of color and that were deployed to the European theater during World War II. 688's mission was to alleviate a 3-year backlog of mail, estimated at 17 million pieces. The unit's motto, no mail, no morale. These women were proud of their service despite of the persuasive racism and sexism of the era. Major Fanny Griffin McClendon was born in Louisiana in 1920. Her father, a World War I veteran, died when she was just 5 years old. It was tough, so her mother moved the family to New York to secure work. When World War II started, Major McClendon graduated high school and went to New York City to enlist into the Army, where she and 5 other women of color took the exam. When the exam was over, the board, consisting of a doctor and 2 school teachers, told McLeod had worked with Mrs. Eleanor Roosevelt. Mrs. Bethune said, "Go home, I'll call you in and let you know what the results of the test were." The next day she called, and all 6 women went downtown and were sworn in. McClendon's dream of serving in uniform came true due to the advocacy of Mrs. Bethune, who was an advisor to the President Franklin Roosevelt. She was among the earliest Black women activists who helped lay the foundation for the modern civil rights movement. Mrs. Bethune was concerned that Black women were being left out of the World War II as it was coming to an end. While working with the First Lady, Eleanor Roosevelt, she found it a meaningful role for women of color in the conflict. Major McClendon spent more than 2 decades in the military, serving in the Army from 1942 to 1945. In 1950, she returned after she left and went back to military service as a major in the Air Force, having a distinguished career until she retired with 26 years of service. She served as a supply officer within the Strategic Air Command, SAT, and later became the first woman to oversee an all-male squadron in SAT. Major McClendon met her husband while both were training at Warren Air Base in Wyoming. After he retired, he worked as an educator in Arizona. Major McClendon is a beacon who illuminates the way, reaffirming that diversity, empathy, and dedication are the bedrock of any successful mission. In 2019, the U.S. Army formally recognized and awarded the 6th AAA Battalion the Meritorious Unit Commendation. A monument of the 6th AAA soldiers stand on Fort Leavenworth, Kansas. U.S. Congress awarded the Congressional Gold Medal to the veterans of the 6th AAA in 2022, and it was presented in 2025. What a career. Let's have applause for it. Thank you so much. And in accordance to some behind-the-scenes actions that I'm going to mention, we never get to hear what medals people are awarding. And I'm going to briefly write down, and all of these medals are on that uniform. For individual awards, the Air Force Commendation Ribbon, the Women's Army Corps Service Ribbon, American Campaign Ribbon, the Euro-African Middle Eastern Campaign Ribbon, World War II Victory Ribbon, the National Defense Service Ribbon, and the Air Force Longevity Ribbon with 4 oblique clusters. The unit award was the Meritorious Unit Citation Ribbon, and on the uniform you see the U.S. insignia worn on the lapel, the pala alta, the famous Roman helmet that you see is the insignia, the WAC officer collar insignia, and then the U.S. Army Air Force rank insignia for major worn on the lapels. And the patches that you see are the 8th Air Force Soldier Patch and the Army Meritorious Patch. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed the rest of the event here today. Thank you so much, and wow, I'm just floored to be here with such history, a living legend. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joseph. So next, it is my honor to introduce Colonel Wanda Wright. Ma'am. So Director Wanda Wright is a third-generation U.S. military veteran, a 1985 graduate of the United States Air Force Academy. She began her career as Deputy Budget Officer with the Air Command in South Carolina. She went on to serve 21 years with the Arizona National Guard in multiple leadership roles, culminating as Director of Staff for the Adjutant General in Phoenix. She retired in 2011 at the rank of Colonel. In 2015, Governor Doug Ducey appointed Director Wright to lead the Arizona Department of Veteran Services. Most recently, on June 1st, 2023, she was named Director of the Office for Veteran and Military Academic Engagement. Director Wright holds a BS in Management from the U.S. Air Force Academy, an MBA from Webster University, an MPA from the University of Arizona, and an MA in Educational Leadership from Arizona State University. Her military decorations include the Legion of Merit and the Meritorious Service Medal with Oak Leaf Cluster. She has also been recognized with the Copper Star Award from the Arizona Veteran Hall of Fame Society and was inducted into the Hall in 2023. Director Wright served as president of the National Association of State Directors of Veteran Affairs from 2022 to 2023. She was appointed to the VA's Advisory Committee on Women's Veterans in 2008, where she continues to serve as chairman. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Ms. Wanda Wright.
That was a lot, but I'm going to add to it. Today, I started my doctorate in educational leadership and innovation. It's nice to have a lifetime of good things, right? And we're here to honor someone who has had a lifetime of good things. So ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, veterans and friends, thank you for joining us today at Still Indian School Park, across from the Phoenix VA, for this momentous dedication. Today, we honor not just the name, but a life of extraordinary service, my Major Fanny. We've been together now through the Tuskegee Emory for quite a while. We've known each other, and I think we've become friends. But I want to really talk about the trailblazing patriot of this last living legacy of the 6888. She's one of my idols, and I stand here before you as a present day legacy of her and all the other women of color from the 688. You saw those films up there, and you saw some of the women who were the first. The first. And imagine that, even in the WAC time, white women were first, then black women, women of color. I've been a first in my career on many occasions. I don't know how it feels like that, but I do know how it feels. And I can only imagine the environment that she and the other ladies were living in at the time. During World War II, the U.S. Army faced a crisis, and you've all heard about it. Flew largely under the radar of the Army, which kind of shows you at the time what correspondence meant to them. It wasn't so important, was it? And yet we know now and today that contact is the most important thing. And so that undelivered mail accumulated in the European theater. And in response, they finally put together this historic battalion, famously known as the 688. And all those women of color made this unit and then deployed overseas. Now, they probably weren't the first black women or women of color to go overseas, but as a battalion, the first of its kind. And you saw some of the video where they were walking down the street in the middle of Birmingham, and all those crowds that came around them and saw what they were doing. And the example that those ladies made, so perfect in their uniforms, standing up straight and walking like they had a mission. And their mission? To restore a vital link of morale, because as the motto proclaimed, no mail, no morale. Stationed in harsh conditions in Birmingham, England, and later France, they worked around the clock in 3 shifts to process and deliver approximately 17 million pieces of mail in just 3 months, twice as fast as was predicted. So think about that now. All odds were against them. All odds. Who saw the movie? Raise your hand. So you saw how it was, even though that's a depiction of it. Every day was a struggle. And yet, they moved that mail and figured out how to do it and did it in half the time. Let me hear an amen. Amen. Yes. Yeah, that's what So as you've heard, Fanny was born in 1920, so that's a while ago. And I'll tell you a little story. I said, hey, your next birthday's coming up in September. And she said, don't talk about it. Everybody always asks me what my age is, and I don't like it. So don't ask her what her age is. Her father was killed in World War I, and that left her sisters and her mom alone to fend for themselves. And she's told me, my mom, it was tough. She was single. With 2 kids to raise, she took every job she could get. So another black woman out there struggling, trying to make it. So she moved the family so that they could survive. New York, New Jersey, higher paying work. Fanny graduated, and even before she graduated from high school, she spent some time in Catholic school. And she tells me that that's where she spent a lot of time with her grandparents. When World War II began, Fanny was eager to do her part. And I always wonder about that. You know, in those times, in the 30s and 40s, why would a black woman want to be in the military when we didn't even have rights of our own in America? And I tell you this because I'm a historian. I'm a professor, too, at ASU. And that when I read these stories about all of, particularly women, I just sort of try to think back how hard it was, how difficult it was. So she first enlisted in Women's Army Corps, which was really the beginning of women being in the military, and later transferred to the U.S. Air Force. And I'll just note that the picture up there is her in her Air Force uniform, not the Army uniform. And that is how she ended her career. Go Air Force. And it wasn't until she was in the Air Force that integration actually happened in the military. So in the 50s, right, integration was occurring. And so segregation was a big factor in the military at the time. So she rose to the rank of major. At that time, I think that was extraordinary. Just extraordinary. And then the fact that she actually commanded a whole squadron of male soldiers, or airmen, I guess would have been that by that time. It's just phenomenal to me. Because I think about just even current day and the struggles I had, just trying to lead people and then disregarding me as a woman or disregarding me because I was Black, right? I can only imagine what it was like at that time. So looking back at their remarkable career, she often said her proudest memory was that of her time with the 688. That incredible battalion that answered a dire need in the most remarkable way. The journey of Major McClendon and her fellow 688 was far from easy. They navigated prejudice, segregation, poorly equipped facilities and resources, rat-infested, freezing warehouses with segregated housing and limited resources. Their commander, Lieutenant Colonel Charity Adams Early, courageously defied orders to relinquish command to a white officer responding with the unshakable conviction, "Over my dead body, sir." Again, remarkable. Because under most circumstances, she would have been gone. And yet her conviction, I think, is what held her there. So if you see in the movie, you know that was a pivotal moment in their journey. Now picture this. You get off a boat when you may have never traveled outside the United States ever, with a lot of women, just like you, and you walk down the streets of Birmingham toward these warehouses that not only have a sunmail in them, but they're stacked to the rafters. Can you imagine 17 million pieces? It's hard to even imagine. With, the air is cold in there, no heaters, no insulation, mountains of undelivered mail bags stacked to the ceiling, envelopes were bent, torn, water-stained. Many were addressed to Junior, Buddy, Bubba, Sweetheart, with no last name, maybe a little perfume on them. And it was so severe, again, they thought it would take 6 months. But these women worked so hard, 24 hours a day, and they moved that mail. And one of the things that I think that Fanny was really proud of is she said she knew that mail meant everything. Those letters were a lifeline, and they were determined to prove themselves and to get it done, no matter what it took. And that's how I feel too sometimes, right? You just keep plowing forward. You keep working hard. You keep doing what you have to do so that you can be the person that you really need to be in your future. And they did this while living under segregation, not just the military, but also in the communities they served. Dining was separate, housing was separate, facilities were separate. Yet they chose to respond in a very professional way and with excellence. One battalion member later reflected, "We couldn't change the prejudice, but we could change the perception of what Black women could do in uniform." Their work was not glamorous. There was no medals for mail sorting, but to the soldiers on the front line, it meant everything. So I'll tell you a little story about how she tells me this story often, and I love it because it makes me laugh, that when the war ended, she was actually on the beaches of French Riviera with her friend, and they were walking along the beach, and Major Fanny says, "I think the war's ended." And her friend is like, "How do you know?" Because it was French radio that she was hearing. And she tells me it's because I know patois, which is the New Orleans language, right? And she knew the end of the war had come. And she called Charity Adams, and Charity Adams responded that, yes, that was true. The war had ended. And that's how she found out the war was over. Isn't that a great story? Yeah. So here at Phoenix, we're especially proud to claim Major McClendon as one of our own. She spent her later years here in the Valley continuing to share her story, not for her own glory, but to make sure the history of the 688 lived on. She attended veteran events, visited schools, and met with service members of every generation. She showed that you can be humble and still be a history maker. For too long, The sacrifices and achievements of the 688 were overlooked. But thanks to tireless advocacy from many people, their legacy has finally been honored. And as we know, in 2018, a monument was erected in Fort Leavenworth. In 2019, they received the Meritorious Unit Commendation. In 2024, a Netflix film, 688, brought their history to a wider audience. And I was very happy that ASU sponsored a screening for that. And we invited all the WAC units to come, as well as the Tuskegee Airmen, to share that screening with us and to share that story with us. And of course, Fanny was there. Most poignantly, of course, is a 2025 Congressional Gold Medal. It was a long time in coming, I think too long. Right? Right. It's the highest expression of civilian gratitude and was awarded to the entire battalion. At the ceremony, leaders from both political parties praised their patriotism and resilience. Major McClendon sent family to receive her medal, and they described the recognition as overwhelming, a testament to how long overdue it truly was. Major McClendon office says, "I was in the service, I did a job. What else more do I need?" That humility, paired with her achievements, is what makes her legacy so inspiring. Her determination gave her the opportunity to see parts of Europe she only read about in books. It illuminated the way for countless generations of Black women in uniform to serve it, and as a quiet but powerful example of excellence. I often think of her when I reflect on my own journey. She's one of the reasons I made it to Colonel in the United States military, and I salute her for it. Today, as we make this dedication to her honor, we do more than dedicate. We celebrate a life, a long life, a well-lived life, a lifetime of service. We enshrine the story of a woman who answered the call, broke barriers, and remained humble. Major Fanny, your service, that in the 688, remind us that courage isn't always loud. Sometimes it moves mail, lifts morale, and changes history. Thank you. May your legacy continue to inspire all who walk through those doors.
Thank you, Wanda. It's going to make me cry. And I too share the sentiments. As a Navy veteran, we stand on your shoulders. So thank you, Ms. Fanny. Okay. So time for the plaque unveiling. We're going to do that first, then we have some other special presentations. The unveiling of today's plaque carries a special significance. It's here centered. Bronze has long symbolized resilience and honor, connecting us to past admirations for leadership and strength. Across history, from the Benin bronzes of West Africa to Greek bronze sculptures, this material has preserved stories and legacies for centuries. Today, bronze carries forth the legacy of Major Fanny Griffin McClendon. Her plaque, measuring 18 by 14 inches and weighing nearly 50 pounds, will be permanently displayed at the Carl T. Hayden VA Medical Center. It will ensure that her remarkable service, spanning both the United States Army and the United States Air Force, and her place in history as part of the legendary 6888, remain alive for generations to come. So at this time, I would ask that Major McClendon go to this side of the plaque, and Mr. Ditter also, if you go to the other side, and we will have the unveiling. All right. Great. And we also have flowers presented by our special emphasis program, the Plaque Employee Program, Ms. Jasmine Hardy. And on the count of three, we are going to unveil the plaque. 1, 2, 3. Fine. I know she has words.
Try to think they need passing it stuff and it's dripping. Being a little sad. But that be really kind. And yeah, I had it.
Thank you, Trent. Thank you so much.
At the mic for me. Oh, wait, she's gonna.
She says it being
Oh, there. And Joseph, you can stay right there.
Never found that I did. I'll fight.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So at this time, I am going to call forward the City of Tempe Mayor Corey Woods. If you would please come up for some remarks, and also Council Member Bernetta Hodge, if both of you.
Well, thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here this morning. And I will be very brief because my boss, Councilmember Bernetta Hodge, is right after me. So I wanted to say, on behalf of the entire city of Tempe, I want to congratulate Major Fanny Griffin McClendon on this incredible honor. She's an American hero, and I am truly honored to be here with you today. Thank you for your service to our country. Thank you for being a trailblazer for women and for African Americans everywhere. And on a very deeply personal note, elected officials like myself and Councilmember Hodge would never have been able to ascend to the heights that we have without you. We both recognize that we stand on the shoulders of giants each and every day. And you are undoubtedly one of those giants and an absolute living legend. So thank you and congratulations. And I would now like to bring forward my colleague on the Tempe City Council, Councilmember Bernetta Hodge.
Thank you. Hello, everyone today. Today is just honor for me because
as the mayor says, we would not be here if it was for her. But it's even more depth for me because as a Black woman with Rep. Krug standing right there, we would not be here if it wasn't for you. Because, it is twice, 4 times harder for an African American woman to be heard, to be seen, to be recognized in this world. And if you didn't take those steps where you did, I couldn't take the steps that I take today. And I love you for it. Your story is different, and that it was not you this long. I'm going to make a way for the next generation to be able to walk in another stronger footsteps than mine. So at this moment, because I have a proclamation to read, and I don't want to read the proclamation, I want to hold her hand as it's read. I have my son here, who is the honorary former Representative Jevin Hodge, who is now the East Valley president of the NAACP. He will now read the proclamation for you, and I'm going to hold her hand as we do it.
Thank you, Leadership Councilmember Hodge. Thank you for your leadership, Major McClennan. On behalf of the East Valley NAACP, one of the nation's largest chapters and the largest chapter in the great state of Arizona, and I'm proud to say as the president of the NAACP East Valley, we represent Major McClennan here in the city of Tempe. So it is a great honor to be here with you today. Proclamation on behalf of the city of Tempe. Whereas Major Fannie Griffin McClennan stands as one of the 2 lasting survivor members of the historic 6888 Central Postal Directory Battalion, famously known as the 6888. And whereas the 6888 was the first and only all-African-American women's unit in the Women's Army Corps to serve overseas during World War II, answering the call of duty as a critical time, with over 17 million pieces of mail and had accumulated, leaving countless American soldiers disconnected from home and loved ones. And whereas through relentless dedication, courage, and tireless work, processing an astonishing 65,000 pieces of mail per sim, the 6888 restored hope and morale among U.S. troops, exemplifying extraordinary service and patriotism. And whereas despite confronting racism, sexism, and segregation, both at home and within the military, Major McClennan and her fellow battalion members carried out their mission with steadfast determination, dignity, and excellence. And whereas Major Fannie Griffin McClennan, born in Louisiana in 1920, bravely answered her nation's call during World War II and continued her trailblazing military career by re-enlisting in the Air Force when she broke barriers as the first woman to command an all-male unit in the Strategic Air Command. And whereas Major McClennan's life of service, resilience, and leadership reflects the highest ideals of courage and sacrifice, inspiring future generations and ensuring the legacy of the 6888 endures in American history. Now, therefore, I, Burdetta B. Hodge, council member, the first Black woman elected in the city of Tempe, Arizona, do hereby declare August 21st, 2025, Major Fannie Griffin McClennan Day in Tempe, Arizona.
Thank you, Mayor Woods and Council Member Hodge. Okay. Finally, We are honored to welcome Congressman Greg Stanton, who just walked in, to the podium for closing remarks and a very special presentation. Congressman Stanton.
What an honor to be here. Good to see you again. What an honor for all of us to be here on this great occasion, this special occasion. I'm so proud to be here to honor a true American patriot, an Arizona legend, very special constituent of mine, my favorite constituent in all of AZ04. About to have her 105th birthday next month. What an incredible occasion. Thank you to the Phoenix VA, especially Siobhan, Elijah, for all you do for our Arizona veterans. And thank you to all of the people here gathering for this special occasion to honor the accomplishments of Major McClendon. Thanks you, of course, to Joseph and Colonel Wanda Wright. You've all heard this incredible story this morning. This battalion story is so remarkable, it deserves to be told again. Picture mountains and mountains of undelivered mail, years worth sitting in warehouses across Europe, letters from worried mothers, love notes from high school sweethearts, news of home that could lift a soldier's spirits and bring comfort in the darkest hours. 17 million pieces of mail undelivered to our soldiers on the battlefield. It should have taken months or years, but with Major McClendon and her team, 6 weeks, that mail got delivered. Major McClendon is the last surviving member of this legendary battalion, the only and first all-Black women's Army Corps to serve at the Western Front in World War II. The 855 women of 6888 didn't just sort the mail. They gave our troops hope, reconnected families across an ocean, and they did our country an unforgettable service. In these extraordinary weeks, they processed every piece, proving that determination and excellence know neither gender nor color, only purpose. Their devotion to our country, coupled with the extraordinary efforts of all of our veterans of color during World War II, led to the integration of our armed forces in 1948. And it's no surprise, Netflix made a movie about you, Major McClendon. I was so lucky to speak at the world premiere of the 6888 last December. The life lessons we could take from Major McClendon's life story on the big screen, lessons about service to our country, perseverance, hard work will guide the audience on how to build a better America. The 6888's motto, no mail means low morale. So Major McClendon, you spent a lifetime ensuring America's morale stays high, and you served our country in the military for 26 years, 3 major wars, World War II, Korean War, and Vietnam War. And then you chose to call Arizona your home after your retirement for the Air Force, and we are so blessed and lucky to have you. Now, Congress did pass the 6888 Congressional Gold Medal clock back in 2021, giving these American heroes Congress' highest honor in recognition for your extraordinary service. We got that bill introduced and passed in 2 years, and you know in congressional time, that's hyperspeed. Earlier this month, the medal itself was finally minted. So today is the day that I get to honor you with that medal on behalf of the American country.
Faithful Glennon, 688 beacons of hope during one of our most troubled times, laying the foundation for every woman and person of color who has since worn our nation's uniform. Patriotism isn't about just who you are, it's about what you're willing to give. Your story reminds us of what American can be when we are at our very best. Your service, your sacrifice, your strength makes all of us better Americans. So today we don't just honor your past, we celebrate the present and the future that you have helped secure for all of us. Major Glennon, thank you. It's your day.
Thank you, sir. Wow, what an honor. Before we conclude, I want to welcome someone up for our very last presentation. We couldn't do any of this without our veteran service organizations. Ms. Fanny has been a member of American Legion Post 2 for 65 years. And the president is over there. Raise your hands, Post 2, 65 years. But also, we have a really quick special dedication from VFW Pat Tillman Memorial Post VFW 40? 40. All right, it must be Army. All right, come on up to the podium and please make your special dedication. Thank you.
Could I have the Arizona commander come up, please?
There you go.
I'm a sergeant major. I don't need the mic.
And so,
You stay right there. Ladies and gentlemen, I am between you and food. So I'm just going to get to it. Attention orders. Certificate of Lifetime Membership. This certifies that Major Fanny Griffin McClendon is awarded a lifetime membership in grateful recognition, service, sacrifice, and contributions during World War II. This lifetime membership is presented with honor and gratitude. This 21 day of August 2025 by the Pat Tillman Memorial, VFW Post 40, Avondale, Arizona, with the support of the commander of the VFW Arizona Department Commander. At this time, we're going to do the ceremonial hat. Sir. Up to Pat Tillman Memorial.
Thank you. Thank you. We have had a close for it. Thank you. We have lots of flowers here on the stage for Miss Fanny, but we don't know where do we know? NAACP. Okay. All of them? This goes off the whole way. Oh, we got plenty. Okay. Thank you. We'll give this to her after. That concludes our program. On behalf of the Phoenix VA, thank you to all of our volunteers, VCS, all the VSOs in the house, honored guests for being part of today's historic celebration. And most importantly, thank you, Major McClendon, for your extraordinary service to our nation in both the Army and the Air Force. This concludes our program. Thank you.